Good morning, Warriors! Back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2 and the 1% Club. Hope you guys are doing well on this Friday morning. Trying to get one done here before I head over to work. Things are going wonderful again. I think we've hit now 875 days of no FAP, and I think we're over 100 and some when it comes to monk mode again. So we're getting there. We're getting closer. Moving closer to our goal all the time. So hope you guys are doing well. Thank you guys for all the comments, the things you guys have sent me as far as donations and subscriptions. We're heading to 750, so that's wonderful. And I'm just so grateful and appreciative, as well as I am for a lot of great comments. Today we're going to focus on one from Mohammed. Women's attraction is not real. I think he makes a good point here. I also do want to shout out to people like Leo, who's on 4 months. Congratulations, Leo. Keep going. Jihaz made a couple nice comments. He was looking at one of my older ones, and I have a lot less hair, especially my beard. So it's interesting to kind of go back in some of the older ones that we've had over the last year or so and see how I look compared to now. I feel better now than I think every day as I'm doing this more. So I love the hair and all that kind of stuff. So too many years. I had 50 some years of not having a beard. So to me, I like this. Aaron, thank you for your comments. Nazar, thank you, and I apologize. I think I owe you an apology. I was talking about somebody else when they had their streak broken, so please continue. Don't listen to me half the time with this kind of stuff. I'm just trying to kind of acknowledge people as I go along. So I apologize if I misspoke on that one. Dr. Von Life's investments, thank you once again. That's great comments you're making. Fresh Start made some nice comments, thank you. Maximo Willem and David Judah had a great comment yesterday, and I'll focus a little bit on his, but I'm also do a separate video on that. So as we kind of talk about this one, I'm going to kind of bring his into as well. So there's a couple of ones. Mohammed said women's attraction is not real, and David was commenting that what women see in you is God in you. And I think there's relevancy and truth to both of those statements. So let's kind of focus on both of those, and I can kind of bring them together. We talk about this. So when we're talking about attraction, and the reason I talk about this, and I had someone else also mention that, we tend to focus too much on this, and I agree with that. I like to kind of bring up topics that will make you think more and kind of get away from the temptation. I know all these years the battle that you can have with temptation, and you're fighting with yourself back and forth. And let's face it, the biggest obstacle we have is the women's temptation. So talking about attraction, understanding it, is good. Now, you don't obviously want to dwell on it and focus on it all the time, and you certainly don't want to do semen retention because of women attraction. If you want to find that one person, I can understand that. But once again, you have to realize this is kind of a double-edged sword in many ways. As a warrior, if you're strong, if you're able to have all your nutrients in your seed, well, then you're going to be super attractive and super powerful. On the other hand, as you're looking at this, you're going to also have to have self-restraint. Because as many people said, as I think Fresh Start, Leo, a lot of people have talked about this, that once you lose your energy, women don't notice you anymore. But what they're really reacting to, and this is really kind of strange, and it took many, many years for me to understand this, they are really reacting to your energy level. And the reason I did the interview the other day with a couple young ladies is because they talked about energy. Now they would call it energy. Obviously they may not understand the terms we're talking about when we talk about retention. We know these terms. We know what's really going on and why celibacy is very, very important in many cases to build your nutrients in your body up. But the thing is that a lot of women don't really understand the term. And so when they're talking about this, they're talking about energy and personality, and they're talking about charisma and energy and all the things that are, relate to this energy. And basically, they're correct. they get attracted to the energy. So when Muhammad says a woman's attraction is not real, it really is not real. And in fact, there's a couple of videos talk about this too, is that, and you have to kind of look at this in the broader picture, okay? Women are attracted to you because of several things. Maybe they want security, maybe they want protection, maybe they want a provider, maybe they want to have children, family, things like that. But because the basic nature that women have is to be attracted to energy, you have to kind of understand that it's very difficult for them to kind of resist this energy. So logically thinking about this, relationships you have with them, you have to realize that they're going to be attracted. I saw this last night in the movie. I saw when my family's sitting there talking about this guy who at least portrayed on the movie screen. It was actually portraying Dracula, which is kind of interesting. The idea that he had this certain combination of energy that was empathetic, but then also very dangerous, and kind of like that very dominant type of person. So when we see this, we realize that women are very attracted to this. And yes, they may in the back of mind, not do anything. If you're in a relationship with them, whether you're married, whether you're going out with them, they may not do anything. But then once again, they're attracted because the energy is something that attracts them. So realizing that, guys, and our warriors here, realize that in many cases women are not not your own. You're with that person for a period of time, and the way I've always looked at this, even with my wife, that I'm with her right now, and I'm blessed, and the Lord has given that marriage and the great kids we have and everything like that. But one day that may not be around anymore, and that may break up, and who knows what happens in the long run. But the thing is that you have to kind of detach a little bit from this, and which I've tried to do. And one of the ways to do that is through the retention. Because as you do retention, you realize the attraction that women have for you, even partially the love they have for you, comes from that energy. And I've seen a difference in my wife. I've seen a difference in my friends now that I've been on this for 875 days, almost 900 days coming up. Because there's a super energy level that people see. And in many ways, been married for 30 years, it's probably re-enhanced my marriage situation. Because it's a different type of energy level, and it's kind of going back to where I was a long time ago. So the thing is as you look at this, you realize that it is the energy that you're talking about. Now, let's go to David Judah's comment, which I may think he also provides some good insight on this as well. So David Judah says what we're really talking about, and this is not really women attraction so much, which kind of falls in line with what Muhammad was saying too. It's the idea that what she's seeing is God in you. And again, there's good validity to that point, because when we look at the word enthusiasm, there's meanings of that word, and one of those meanings is God within you. So when you have the enthusiasm, when you have the seed, when you have the nutrients, that pretty much says God is in you. You are a temple of God, and God is in you. Therefore, what the woman is seeing very much possibly could be God in you. And she sees that energy, sees that light, and she wants to be near that light. This is why you find women who become attractive. Now, if you lose that, you're losing that ability to draw people to you. Now, and you have to kind of decide whether or not that's what you want or not. On the other hand, you have to be very controlled if you're going to get that, and we all get that all the time, but we have to kind of decide how we're going to handle that situation. And this is not an easy situation at all, because especially if you haven't gotten a lot of attention from females and other males who are respecting you, and then also some males who will not like you because of this, you have to kind of think to yourself, okay, how do I handle this type of situation? And I think there's a number of ways you can do this, but one of the things you have to kind of remember is that you're giving off that energy, which you may not see yourself unless you look yourself in the mirror. You may still not even notice it, but you have that energy level that other people see. And as they see the energy level, now they're more willing to be near that. I had that happen to me, every day, where all of a sudden people come and sit next to me. And this is females you're talking about, young, they're talking about, young adult, 20s into 20s, just sitting there, and I don't know if they even know why they're sitting there. They just want to talk. And I might be doing a lesson, I may be taking a break, and they're just sitting there. And I think it's really astonishing to me to kind of see that and realize what they're being drawn to is not me. And this is where you got to get a little bit of humbleness, my warriors. It's not you. It's the energy you have, yes, and you're doing something that is unique. So that's a yes. That's true. And so you should be commended for that. And so in partly you are responsible for some of that because you're taking control of yourself. So that is very true. So I probably take that statement back a little bit. But the bigger part of that is not you. You're not controlling that. What you're doing, that is God within you. And God is just showing up because you're allowing God to stay within you and not shoot yourself out. So in a sense, are we saying that your semen retention, your life-giving form is God? Maybe. That's something that just kind of dawned on me as I'm talking about this, but it's possible. It's possible because your ability to provide a seed to a woman allows you to have a child, and God creates children. So maybe what's inside of us is God. And if we're using our body as a temple, God is within you. And so it really is a case that, the woman's attraction is not real. It is God within you. And I think this is something that's really key. And that may be what I'll use for my title for this one. But as we look at this, I think it's, shout out to both Muhammad and to David Judah. And I think I'll focus on this one another time. But we're talking about something that we have to understand what it is. It's not because of looks. Looks are a byproduct or maybe the effect of what's causing this. It's the byproduct, the fact that, you have personality, you have these things, and it makes your whole outside body look better. But don't think that it's just the outside looks, because there's lots of people who have outside looks and they're dead inside for many reasons. They don't have any kind of faith. They have nothing. No relationship with God. And so if you really want to have a relationship with God, and I know I'm teaching the prior to the choir with his 1% that we're talking about here, that we're part of this club, but you would definitely continue trying retention because you want to get closer to God. And God's body really has been given to you, and why would you spend your body just for your own pleasures? Now, that seems kind of silly, and I go back to the old days where we kind of thought a little bit differently about all this. But nowadays, people don't look at that the same way. And I think it's a key type of thing to look at as you have your body and you've been given this as a gift from the Lord, you're going to use your body in a positive way. Now, certainly, to have children, procreate, I think this is well within God's purpose. But to go out and just go ahead and have random intercourse and sex with people and release anytime you want to, that is not, in my book, being responsible. And I will blame myself for 40 years of being irresponsible. So I'm the first one to blame, probably the most one to blame on this. But I do recognize now that after 875 days, that was all a big brainwashed thing, that I was brainwashed, and realizing that, this is not the way life is. Life should not be just going out and releasing. In fact, you're making yourself weaker every minute. So realizing the attraction is not real, realizing that this is really God within you, you have a responsibility to yourself and to people around you, in my book, and to the Lord, most importantly, to basically keep your seed, retain all you have until you get to a situation where you have a person who you want to share that energy with. Remember, when you're sharing energy with somebody, now, if you're not sharing energy with anybody, then you're just kind of wasting it. And to my mind, that is what drove me crazy for years. But if you're really talking about something that with a person and you're giving them energy, it's going to make them happy, and there's nothing wrong with giving them happiness. If you're trying to have a child and you're not having a child right away, of course you're going to have situations where you're going to be releasing and trying and those type of things, and that's giving your partner, your person you're in love with, you're going to give them some of you, which is I think God in my mind has always been okay with that. I don't think there's any kind of problem with that. But obviously you have to have something as a commitment to that situation. If you're not committed and you're doing it randomly with people, there's a lot of negative things that I've seen over the years that come from that. And I would definitely avoid that at all costs and stay with your pattern of achieving yourself, doing the things that you want to do and getting the goals accomplished, making yourself the best person for the Lord you can be. And then at that point, then you'll find a person, and God will find someone for you. I think there's always a purpose out there. So this thing about women's attraction is something that it should not be the reason you're doing retention, should not be your lifestyle goal. It should be something you recognize, however, that's going to be an important thing to kind of deal with as you're on your journey, because you're going to see temptation, almost like, when you're trying to be the good Samaritan, you're walking down the journey, you're walking down the path, and someone needs help. Do you help them or not? You have to kind of decide in many ways how dangerous this will be for you, and that's kind of where the decision goes. Obviously, you're not going to help everybody you see. You're going to figure out who really needs the help and who's the person who really need to kind of reach out to and give part of yourself to. So it's all kind of the same type of thing, but remembering that the Lord is your foundation. And if the Lord is your foundation, then you're going to do things to try to make the Lord happy. And you may fall back at times. We all do. And I'm, like I said, guilty as anybody over the years. But the thing is, you want to keep trying and never give up and continue to battle on. This is why I talk about battling and vigor warriors and all this kind of stuff, because you're battling. You're battling day by day against the forces of the evil one, and the energy suckers, and the blood suckers, and the vampire suckers, and the zombies, all these people running around that don't have energy, and they want your energy. And this is what happens. So you have to make sure that from a physical and a mental, emotional position, you're not giving up your energy. All right, my friends, enough for today. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, the rest of Friday. I will try to do one this weekend. I have a bunch that I got to catch up with, so hopefully I'll get a chance to kind of do one. And as you guys go through, have a great day, have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys soon. Take care, guys. God bless you, and battle on!